The Michael Berry Show.
Brandon Waltens with Texas Scorecard authored the piece that I read to you just a moment about the quorum busting and the lack of any real punishment last time. Brandon, welcome to the program.
Hey, always good to be on.
So we've got an 18 agenda item special session before us. President Trump is counting on the governor of Texas to shepherd this thing through. I'm getting the sense that you share my concern that Abbott won't have the stones to get this done.
Well, look, I don't know whether Governor Abbott will or won't. What I do know is that Democrats, when presented with a similar set of circumstances 20 years ago, a mid-cycle redistricting, they left, right? They went to Oklahoma, they went to New Mexico to try to stop that. We know that Democrats broke quorum 4 years ago, and that was just for election integrity legislation. Redistricting, if done right, will cost them seats in Congress. This is an existential threat to Democrats. And there's not really been, 4 years ago, there were no consequences, like you said. I mean, they came back, they had their committee positions, they had their offices, whatever. There were no real consequences when they came back. And so the question is, is there going to be some stronger enforcement to make sure that they don't try to do this again? We haven't heard from the governor on this, so I don't know, what he is or isn't willing to do. But I do know that, last time, it wasn't enough. It certainly didn't deter them from leaving. And there's a lot of questions right now when you look at national Democrats like Hakeem Jeffries are sort of goading Texas Democrats to leave. There's questions about whether or not that'll happen again.
Brandon Waltens, Texas Scorecard, is our guest. But I would assert that Democrats do a better job of wrangling their people from top to bottom. They're much more a hierarchical structure from the top down. They've got funding behind that, whether that be Soros or another different organizations, whereas Republicans tend to be a much more loosely, even if you want to call it organized group. I wonder the extent to which President Trump's wishes can be carried out when they don't necessarily have anything personal to gain. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I'm raising the question.
No, I think it's a great question. And I'll say this, when this redistricting issue was first brought up a couple weeks ago when it was put on the call for the special session, most people looked at that and said, okay, maybe two, maybe we'll be able to draw two more Republican seats. The president said yesterday he wants to see five, which is going to require some real work, but it's something at the same time that's going to cause Democrats to want to push back, obviously. Mm-hmm. And the question is, is the governor, is the Speaker of the House, Dustin Burrows, are they going to be willing to actually do what needs to be done to say, look, for example, we've had some lawyers, I'm not a lawyer, but some have looked and said, look, the governor, if they leave, they don't show up, they leave the state, the governor can essentially say, you need to come back, or your seat's going to be vacant. We're going to have a special election for your seat. There are new rules put in place that go after, that fine people who break quorum. But even then, right, there's sort of questions about whether or not that'll be enforced, or if that will even be a drop in the bucket, especially if, the National Democrat Party wants to pick up the bill for that. And so, there's just going to need to be, more done. I think Attorney General Ken Paxton yesterday said that if they tried to do that, they need to be arrested. They're certainly empowered to arrest and bring these people back to the Capitol. And hopefully, if that happens, that's a step they're willing to take.
Well, I'm not one who believes that Dustin Burrows is either a true Republican nor a man of great conviction, but Matt Rinaldi had a great tweet yesterday. He said, wait until Trump realizes the only thing keeping him from winning this redistricting fight is the guy flaunting his endorsement won't arrest Democrats breaking quorum because their votes elected him Speaker. Brandon, I don't know how deeply you dig into Harris County politics, but I hearken back to a few years ago. We had a Republican county commissioner named Cactus Jack Cagle, And Rodney Ellis, who's the boss of Harris County politics and runs herd over everyone, he just redistricted Jack Cagle out of his commissioner's seat and replaced him with his hand-picked, John Arnold-picked, Leslie Briones, Democrat, and now a 4-1 Republican commissioner's court in Harris County is a 4-1 Democrat. And everyone hooted and hollered and said, oh, there's no way he can get away with that. But he did, because in politics, might makes right. And I think if Trump can pull this off, they can bitch and moan all they want, but we'll be grateful for it, at the end of the day. Wonderful piece by you, by the way, in Texas Scorecard on that, and you folks are doing great work. Is this guy Trimmer? Is that he works with y'all, doesn't he?
Oh, yes.
He's fantastic. He is absolutely. I know he's new, but he's fantastic.
To why these women are cheap.
Mr. Michael Berry.
I think that there might be.
Oh, because I got nothing going on down there, probably.